Hello and welcome to the Lord's Taverners Junior League Finals here at the Nottingham Wildcats Arena. We've got highlights of all of the matches for you today, and ultimately we're going to see who's going to be crowned the under-15 and under-19 champion. Now, if you're new to the sport of wheelchair basketball, then don't worry, because we've got everything that you need to know. Just take a look at this.
Wheelchair basketball is similar to basketball in many ways. The court size and hoop height are identical, as is the scoring system. 2 for a basket and 3 for a long shot beyond the three-point line. The rules are largely similar too, although travelling works slightly differently in this sport, with players only allowed to propel themselves forward in their chair twice without bouncing the ball. This sport is also non-contact too, however chair-to-chair contact is expected and allowed within reason. This sport is inclusive and caters for absolutely everyone, so a system is in place to balance the teams. Each player is individually classified according to their functional ability on a scale of 1 to 5, and teams are only allowed a set total on the court at any one time.
So here we go, let's take a look at the highlights in the under-19s competition, starting with a battle of the Titans as London take on Tees Valley.
This clash of the Titans ultimately proved to be a rather one-sided affair, with the London side seizing the advantage early on, cheered on by an enthusiastic bench. The Tees-siders made sure they didn't have it all their own way with some nice shots of their own, but in the end it was London who advanced to the semis, 37-8. The Manchester Mavericks faced off against CWBA here and started strongly with this gem of a basket. The Mavericks were well on top, but CWBA were to score a fabulous basket of their own with this superb solo effort. In the end though, it was the Mavericks who took a semi-final berth, 44-15. CWSC Phoenix took on the Tornadoes Kings in the third quarter-final, and despite some excellent work going forward, they struggled to contain the Kings' offense, with this basket one of the picks of the bunch. The Kings advanced then, 24-8. In the closest of the 4 quarter-finals, the Jaguars took on the Blackhawks. The Blackhawks, wearing white in this one, showed some really sharp attacking play, but as the game wore on, the Jaguars really sank their claws in and started to move away on the board. They ended up completing the semi-final lineup, winning it 34-18. Before those semis could be played though, first we had the plate semi-finals as the 4 defeated teams competed for classification. First up, CWBA was simply too strong for the CWSC in the battle of the acronyms, winning 20-6. While on court 2, the Tees Valley Titans put up a real fight with some great play, but were eventually beaten by the Blackhawks, 21-14. Both sides came into this semi-final in good form after their quarter-final wins, but the Kings were overthrown in this encounter by the Mavericks, who turned in a quality display. Their ruthless streak being typified here with this conversion from the free-throw line. For the Kings, the bronze medal game awaited, but for the Mavericks, the final. They won it 30-18. The second semi between the Titans and the Jaguars was fiercely competitive. Close from start to finish, the Jaguars were pouncing on any opportunity. Take a look at this long ranger, for example. Not to be outdone, the Titans then followed with this monster for 3, and that proved to be the difference in the end as the semi went to the wire and the Titans sneaked it 24-21. Here's how the tournament played out then, heading into the final round of games. After 2 defeats apiece, CWSC Phoenix and Tees Valley Titans were to battle it out for 7th and 8th. And after winning their plate semis, the CWBA and the Blackhawks would now contest a plate final for 5th and 6th, whilst the bronze medal game saw the Kings face off against the Jaguars. The final to decide it all at the end of the day was the Mavericks against the Titans. The 7th-8th place game saw something of a northern derby as the Phoenix from Cumbria took on the Titans from Teesside, and it was incredibly close. The Titans sunk some great baskets, this one being one of the picks, but Phoenix kept it up all the way with some great play of their own, eventually forcing it into overtime before the Teessiders snatched 7th place, winning it 19-17. The plate final for 5th and 6th place saw the Blackhawks face CWBA. Check out this amazing one-hander from distance for starters, as the Blackhawks began well. CWBA started to reel them in though and were deadly from close range, and in the end it was the Coventry side who took it by 7, 28-21. The bronze medal match to decide who finished 3rd was contested between the Kings and the Jaguars, and despite some excellent shooting from the Kings, the Jaguars were on top. Having only narrowly missed out in the semi against the Titans, the Jaguars were keen to put that right in this one and secured the bronze position, and that they did, winning out 31-16. And so to the final, and as the show court was ready, the two coaches got their final instructions to the players. London Titans versus Manchester Mavericks, with a big crowd to impress who would fare best in the big game atmosphere. Well, it was the London side who started well, notching up a couple of early baskets, including this beauty for 2 after some fantastic team play. The Mavericks were quick to counter that with some offense of their own, showcasing here just how important it is to pick up the rebounds, and if that at first you don't succeed, try and try again. Heading towards the end of the game, and the Mavericks continued their early momentum to score some fine baskets, including this one for 2 more. And as the Titans pushed to get themselves back in it, so the Mavericks were quick to pick them off on the break. This basket a fine example of their counter-attacking prowess. In the end, it was the Mavericks who claimed the title on the hooter, winning with a score of 38-13. A tremendous performance for the Manchester side, who are the form team all day in Nottingham. And as the team and coaches collected their winners' medals and of course the trophy itself, the Mavericks paid tribute to the late Josie Strakowski, the inspirational wheelchair athlete who is still managing to inspire young people in the sport. Congratulations then to the Manchester Mavericks.
What an absolutely fantastic under-19s competition with a new champion crowned. So now, let's take a look at what happened in the 8-foot rim in the under-15s.
The under-15 competition introduced us to the Northern Ireland Wheelchair Basketball Club, who started their day on court 3 with a great win over the London Titans. The team in green were just too strong for the London side and came away with a 36-2 victory. The competition's second quarter-final saw the CWSC Phoenix take on Tees Valley Titans, and the team in blue shone on the blue court. First, this lightning breakaway was converted for 2, and even when they weren't getting them first time, the Phoenix's rebounds were on point, and they triumphed in the end, 28-18. You couldn't say the Vikings Hoglets coach hadn't come dressed for the occasion, as she led her team up against CWBA in quarter-final 3. The Vikings made some wonderful baskets such as this one, but anything they could do, so could CWBA. This great shot helping the Coventry side take the win, 26-15, much to their fans' delight. Our last quarter-final was contested between the London All-Stars and Norwich Lowriders, and the Lowriders it was who rode into an early lead. The All-Stars were quick on the rebound here though to cut the deficit, but in the end it was the Yellows who came out on top, going into the semis with a 25-15 win. Before the semis though, first we had to see the classification semi-finals, and first up was Tees Valley versus Vikings Hoglets. Tees Valley here sinking some beautiful baskets. The Hoglets played their part too with some nice stuff, but in the end the Teessiders triumphed 36-18. In the other plate semi it was a battle between the London sides, Titans v All-Stars, and after a very close game, the Titans eventually edged it 12-8. On to the first semi-final then, and it was CWSC Phoenix versus CWBA. Phoenix started brightly and took the lead before CWBA tried to rein them in. In the end though, the Phoenix just had enough to power over the line and into the final, 34-25. As for the second semi-final, well, the competition was fierce in a very tight game between Northern Ireland and Norwich Lowriders. In the end, Northern Ireland didn't quite beat the hooter, but they did take the game nevertheless. 18-10 the victory as they advanced to the final. Into the final round of fixtures then, and just as in the under-19s competition, the classifications to be decided run 1 to 8. First up in the 7th-8th place playoff is Vikings Hoglets versus London All-Stars. Fighting for 5th are Tees Valley and London Titans in the plate final, while the bronze medal match sees CWBA take on the Lowriders. Your final to decide the champion is CWSC Phoenix versus Northern Ireland. The two teams coming into this 7th-8th place playoff were both winless so far, but you'd never have guessed that of the London All-Stars, who played with bags of confidence, notching up a couple of great baskets here. Plenty for the Vikings Hoglets to be proud of, and not just their coach's headgear, but the All-Stars took it 25-18. The plate final to decide 5th and 6th was another clash of the Titans as Tees Valley took on London. This game was so even throughout and saw some great offence and defence from both sides. There was nothing to separate them, and so it proved, as after overtime the scoreboard remained level, tied at 20-all. The bronze medal match wasn't quite as tight as CWBA took on the Norwich Lowriders. The Coventry side weren't as hot as they'd like to be from the free throw line, but their rebounds were great throughout and they raced into a lead. For the Lowriders, they fought back and chased every lost cause, but in the end it was CWBA who took the bronze, 24-9. To the final then, and it was CWSC Phoenix against Northern Ireland WBC on the show court. Both coaches relayed their final messages, and then it was over to the players. Both teams started well, initially trading successful free throw opportunities, before the Phoenix started to rise and assert some dominance. They were playing some lovely stuff and were scoring some great baskets, these two coming either side of half time as the score ticked over. They were aided by some more ice-cool steeliness from the free throw line too as the game wore on. And as Northern Ireland pushed forward trying to get back into it, the Phoenix exploited the space effectively on the counter. On the hooter then, it was the CWSC Phoenix who were triumphant, winning 28-17. The victors then collected their medals from the presentation ceremony, and fully deserved they were too.
3 games and 3 wins. Congratulations then to the CWSC Phoenix.
What a fantastic day here at the Nottingham Wildcats Arena for the Lords Taverners Junior League Finals. If you'd like any more information on wheelchair basketball, then check out BritishWheelchairBasketball.co.uk. Goodbye.